In the end, we all die. Death is terrifying. It's so frightening that we avoid thinking or talking about it, sometimes even refusing to acknowledge its existence. Yet paradoxically, death is the light by which we measure the shadow of life's meaning. Without death, nothing would matter. Everything would feel trivial, and every experience would lose its weight. The fear of death stems from the fear of life. Those who live fully are ready to die at any time. Death forces us to confront the most important question of all. What will I leave behind? Avoiding this question allows shallow values to hijack our minds, controlling our desires and aspirations. If we don't consciously confront death, we'll begin to confuse what's important with what's not. Death is the only certainty in life. In short, death should be the compass guiding every decision and value we choose. It's the answer to the questions we're too afraid to ask. Modern society tricks us into thinking we need to be extraordinary to matter. Today's culture treats fame and success as if they're the same. But they're not. You are already extraordinary. Not because you launched an app, graduated early, or bought a fancy boat. You are extraordinary because, in the face of chaos and inevitable death, you continue to choose what to care about and what to let go of. The simple act of living in accordance with your values makes you beautiful, successful, and worthy of love. You will die, just like everyone else. And, just like everyone else, you are lucky to be alive right now. Not sure? Stand on the edge of a cliff and see how alive you feel. Shut up and do it. You can't avoid pain. The athlete who embraces pain gets the perfect body. The workaholic earns the promotion. The artist who endures grueling practice shines on stage. The pain you choose shapes who you become. Life is full of suffering. If pain is inevitable, and problems are unavoidable, the real question isn't how do I stop the pain, but why am I suffering? Or more importantly, but why am I suffering? Or more importantly, what am I suffering for? So, choose a pain you can endure. Then endure it. I get emails like these all the time. One woman said her parents sacrificed everything to send her to medical school. But she hated it. The idea of being a doctor for life filled her with dread. She wanted to quit, but she felt trapped. So, she emailed me the cliché question. How do I quit medical school? Another student was infatuated with her teaching assistant. She was mesmerized by his smile, his laugh, his every move. She asked me, how do I ask him out? From the outside, the answers are simple. Shut up and just do it. But from the inside the answers seem impossibly complex. Here's the kicker. Only the person experiencing the problem feels that way. Everyone else sees it as obvious. The real issue here is pain. Submitting a resignation letter is easy, but breaking your parents' hearts isn't. Asking someone out takes seconds, but braving rejection and embarrassment is infinitely harder. Most people numb themselves when they feel pain, anger, or sadness. Their goal is to rush back to feeling good. But what we really need to learn is how to endure the pain we've chosen. Choosing new values brings new struggles into your life. Embrace the struggle. Savor it. And act according to your chosen values, even when it hurts. At first, it will feel impossible. But do it anyway. 2. To live better, choose better values. Take the stories of two men who experienced rejection but lived completely different lives. One is Dave Mustaine, the guitarist for the legendary heavy metal band Megadeth. The other is Pete Best, the drummer who was kicked out of the Beatles. Before Megadeth, Mustaine was a member of Metallica. He was fired just before the band recorded their first album. Devastated, he swore to create a band even better than Metallica. That band was Megadeth, which went on to sell over 20 million records and cement Mustaine as one of the most influential musicians in metal history. But Metallica sold 180 million records and became one of the greatest rock bands ever. In a 2003 interview, Mustaine admitted with tears in his eyes that he still felt like a failure. Despite his incredible success, Mustaine's decision to measure his life against Metallica's success condemned him to decades of suffering. Pete Best's story is different. In 1962, just as the Beatles landed their first record deal, Best was fired. For a while, he spiraled into depression, even attempting suicide. Unlike Mustaine, Best never became rich or famous. Yet in a 1994 interview, he said, "I'm happier than I would have been with the Beatles." Being kicked out of the Beatles led Best to meet his wife, start a family, and create a life filled with meaning. While fame and glory were nice, he realized that love, family, and a simple life mattered more. Some values lead to better outcomes than others. Good values create solvable problems and lead to growth. Bad values create endless problems and endless pain. Good values are grounded in reality, socially constructive, and within your control, like honesty, humility, and creativity. Bad values are rooted in fantasy, socially destructive, and beyond your control. Like fame, materialism, or needing everyone to like you. Good values are immediate, internal, and real. You can embody honesty or humility right now. Bad values are fleeting, external, and superficial. They leave you empty and trapped. Don't always be positive. Some people think staying positive all the time is a good value. Sure, optimism has its place. But sometimes, life is a mess. And the best thing you can do is face that reality. Suppressing negative emotions only makes them stronger. Constant positivity is just another way of avoiding life's problems. Life is full of shit. Things will go wrong, people will piss you off, and accidents will happen. When they do, you'll feel like crap. And that's okay. Negative emotions are essential for your mental health. Avoiding them is like refusing to solve a problem. It only makes things worse. Is your drive self-made or forced upon you? Imagine this. Someone threatens you, saying that unless you run 42.195 kilometers, they'll harm your family. It's a horrifying thought, isn't it? Now, picture this instead. You've bought a pair of sleek running shoes, spent months training, and finally crossed the finish line of your first marathon. Waiting there are your friends and family, cheering you on. It's probably one of the proudest moments of your life. What makes the difference? Is it a bitter feeling of dread, or an overwhelming rush of accomplishment? The line between the two lies in your mindset. This is my choice. This is my responsibility. If you're feeling miserable right now, it's likely because you believe some part of your current situation is beyond your control. You feel trapped with a problem you didn't choose but are stuck dealing with anyway. But when you take ownership of your problems, when you choose them, you feel energized. The weight doesn't vanish, but now it has meaning. Once upon a time, I toyed with the idea of becoming a professional gambler. I spent hours playing poker, which ended up shaping how I see life in surprising ways. The beauty of poker lies in this. While luck is always a factor, it doesn't dictate the long-term outcome. A person with bad cards can beat someone with good ones. Sure, having a good hand increases your chances of winning. But ultimately, the game is decided by how each player chooses to play their hand. The real winner. It's the person who consistently makes the best possible choices, no matter what cards they're dealt. Life works the same way. Being dealt the best hand doesn't guarantee victory. But making the best decisions with what you've got. That's what puts you ahead in the long run. I hope this video gives you kind of comfort. This video is inspired by Mark Manson's The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. Thank you for watching. I wish you peace and tranquility today.